Even after only a short time out, Elden Ring is a huge universe that barely needs its praises spoken. With such a deep and lore-filled realm, it's only natural that there would be several ending pathways for the player to pick from. Multiple endings are nothing new for Miyazaki and From Software, they appear in all of their games. Elden Ring, on the other hand, features more endings than any previous From Software game. If of this writing, there are 6 known endings, with the possibility of more being discovered as the community digs further into the game's subtleties. For the time being, let's compare the 6 known endings to see which one is best for the overall story of the game. The typical ending to the Elden Ring narrative is Age of Fracture. If you rush to the end of the game without doing any side quests or additional exploration to collect the objects needed to unlock different endings, your only option will be to fix the Elden Ring after defeating the horrifying Elden Beast. You become the Elden Lord and rule over the lands between once the ring is repaired. This isn't a horrible ending, it's just the most common, which is why it's at the bottom of the list. It's the most secure conclusion. We cut to black before seeing the repercussions of any of it in the one where you defeat the monster and advance to the top. The other known endings provide us a lot more information while still leaving us with a lot to think about. Completing Fia's side quest and defeating the optional Lichdragon boss earns you the Age of the Duskborn ending. Your character returns the death rune to the Elden Ring in this ending, allowing everyone in the lands between to experience death for the first time since Queen Marika took it so long ago. In some ways, this feels like a more natural conclusion to the Elden Ring saga. Your character takes the title of Elden Lord and brings something back to the region that had been lost for generations. The ending, on the other hand, is more bitter than sweet because allowing everyone to die is a bit of a backhanded victory. Aside from the restoration of death, no other significant alteration appears to have occurred. Completing Dung Eater's side quest rewards you with the Blessing of Despair ending. It's insane to imagine that a character dubbed Dung Eater will offer you a rune that will affect the fortunes of everyone in the lands between, but that's From Software for you. The rune that Dung Eater gives you as he dies casts a dreadful curse on the lands between, filling the sky with ugly colors that resemble Dung Eater's boils and filling the air with a putrid-looking fog. Although the specific circumstances of this curse are unknown, it is known as the Blessing of Despair. That sounds like a Hellraiser-style joy and suffering are two sides of the same coin philosophy. It's intriguing, but it calls for a bit more explanation. Completing Goldmask and Corhin's side quests results in the Age of Order conclusion. This appears to be the most effective of the more common conclusions. You still become the Elden Lord in this conclusion, as you did in the Age of Fracture. However, you've repaired the Elden Ring with the Mending Rune of the Golden Order in this ending. It's a little unclear what this does. The rune is discovered by the player after Goldmask's death, and its goal is to correct a weakness in the Golden Order that Goldmask regarded as the fickleness of the gods. Many theories have been proposed as to what the distinctions between this ending and the Age of Fracture are, but one thing is certain: the lands between are bathed in golden light in this ending, and something has shook the gods who permitted such havoc to occur in the first place. Completing Snow Witch Ranni's complex, yet interesting side quest earns you the Age of the Stars ending. This finale is as intriguing as it is bleak, and it sparked a lot of debate over whether it should be viewed as a negative or good conclusion. In this ending, Ranni, not your character, becomes the ruler of the lands between, with you at her right hand. In the Age of Stars, she claims she wants to make all impossibilities visible, feeling, faith, and touchable. While this appears to be a transition into a torturously lonely existence on the surface, it is also a departure from the dreadful faith and dogmatic religion that followed the greater will. It's a significant departure from the difficulties that led up to the events of Elden Ring in the first place, and there's a lot to admire about that. This may be the darkest known Elden Ring ending, second only to the Blessing of Despair ending. It takes the top spot because of its uniqueness, amazing graphic ending, and the fact that it feels appropriate for a From Software game to conclude in such disarray. You must inherit the frenzied flame from an entity, known as Three Fingers, in order to reach this ending. You become the Lord of the Frenzied Flame after defeating the Elden Beast and engulfing the Erd Tree and the lands between in fire. This is effectively the game's Noah's Deluge conclusion. Three Fingers considers everything the Greater Will has produced to be a corrupted abomination, and he intends to destroy it all.